Well, Paul Washer says this.
Husband is the head of the home. What you need to understand, though, is authority is given to a man not to build his kingdom. Authority is given to a man to serve his wife and his children.
Now, this is part two of why most men fail to find good women in 2024. And hey, if you're liking this content, like, subscribe, give me a comment below. Paul Washer, he is a good pastor, but the advice that he gives here, it's just so ridiculous that I had to make a video on it. This popped up in, I woke up a couple nights ago about 4:30 or something, and this popped up in my feed, turned on my phone, and I started listening to this. And this actually helped wake me up at that early hour in the morning because I got so mad at what he was saying here and how bad this advice is that it really helped me wake up. Anyway, let's get to it.
Now, we talked about what a young man must be in order to think about marriage, but now I want to talk about just the women for a moment. We're going to look at Proverbs 31. Why? Because again, Proverbs 31 was not written to a young girl. Proverbs 31 was written to a young man. Because I want to tell you something, guys, the choice you make in a wife is going to determine the blessing or the curse of your entire life. It really is. I just want to look at if you're.
Hey, that's true. That's true. You got to be careful with those women that you're picking to marry. And I would say maybe even if you do pick a good one, don't sign the state marriage license. That's still a bad idea. Even if you think you picked a good one, be careful there. But yes, go get married, covenant before God, in the church, before the congregation. Those, yes, absolutely. Do that. Marriage license, jury's out on that one.
First, a few things. First of all, a young woman may pursue a relationship with the opposite sex only after she has embraced adulthood and its responsibilities. Okay? You're going to be looking for a woman that's not just beautiful, because she might just have no character whatsoever, but someone who has embraced adulthood, biblical adulthood. She doesn't want to be a child. She doesn't want to just play with her friends. She wants to follow Christ in the context of a family. The first thing you've got to ask yourself is she mature in the fear of the Lord? Does she fear the Lord? Proverbs 31:30, charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. I want you to think about that.
Now, this is good advice. This is good advice, but then again, like I talked about in my part one video, Paul is steeped in so much Victorian era chivalric nonsense that I don't even think he can see how badly he's blinded by that viewpoint here. So let's go on. It's going to come out.
You can look at, and we say the same thing about young men, but right now we're talking about young women. Guys, after a while, a beautiful woman without discretion is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. It will be the most disgusting, vile thing to you. Because literally, as you grow older, your intimacy and the relationship and everything will continue on. It should grow. But the thing about it is, what's going to keep your marriage together is her character.
Wait a minute. As you grow older, your intimacy in the marriage is going to grow. What? What? Is is that true for the average marriage that the intimacy grows as you get older? Like, I'd like to see that I don't think we could positively say is true. Yeah, at some point the intimacy is going to stop, at least physical intimacy is going to stop, right? Whether you get to be 70 and it stops, 80, 90, 100, whatever. Like, it's going to stop. A lot of old people I know, they sleep in separate bedrooms even because they wake each other up, and it's just kind of the reality of life, Like what can you do? I don't know. It's just the way it is. But to set that up with the young men, like, yes, if you have a great marriage, then the intimacy will grow as you get older. Usually the intimacy drops off. Like, I don't know if that's the expectation that should be set. Yeah, ideally, that'd be great. Anyway, whatever.
To be able to talk to you, to be able to share the same things, to be able to invest in something eternal. Now, she is mature in the fear of the Lord. Also, she recognizes her role as her husband.
Let me say one more thing about that. He's saying, like, yes, you need somebody that's intellectually on the same level as you to be able to talk to you about all your hopes and dreams and blah, blah, blah. As I get older, I'm starting to take a different view on that. I think a man needs other men to talk to about intellectual things. Like, I don't think men and women, on average, want to talk about the same things, want to engage in the same things. Like we have this egalitarian view that, like, yes, you should marry your equal and you should blah, 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 all this stuff. And you should talk. I don't know. I think for the most part, the stuff I like to engage in and talk about and blah, 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 a lot of things my wife's just not all that interested in, she's more interested in woman stuff, and that's fine. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing in scripture that says, oh, yes, you must be on the same level and interest and intellectual and blah, 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 and all. And it's not like, I mean, my wife's a smart person. Like she was valedictorian of the high school that she went to, right? She's a smart person. But we just don't engage intellectually on the same things. I think that's pretty typical. Men typically think a lot deeper about things. Women don't necessarily, at least a lot of the women I know, they don't think deep a lot. They're just kind of like, yeah, 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 let's get back to talking about the family and the kids and blah, blah, whatever. The celebrity gossip, whatever, that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's entertaining, but it's not the same. To set that expectation up, it's not the same. It's not the same. And it's just bad advice. Okay, it's bad advice. That's all I'm saying. It's bad advice. All right.
Also, she recognizes her role as her husband's helpmeet to carry out his divine appointment. I know that sounds so wrong, but I'm sorry. That's why God created Eve after he created Adam.
Oh, boy, I like that. Now we're finally getting down to it. This is good stuff. Paul, thank you for saying that. Woman was created to be the helper to the man. The man, this is good. I like it. It's good stuff. Oh, we finally got it out after how long there's 11 minutes in here. That's what we got. Okay, here we go.
That she would be a helpmate. Now, I want you to look at something. You've all probably heard about biblical submission, how the husband is the head of the home. What you need to understand, though, is authority is given to a man not to build his kingdom. Authority is given to a man to serve his wife and his children.
What? What? Wait a minute. Hold on. Man, Paul, you were doing so good. You're doing so good. What happened? What happened here? Wait a minute. We went from helper. This is why she was created. Genesis 2. Yes. And she, and she submits, and he is the leader so that he can serve her and the children. Oh, dude. Okay. All right. So he's the head just so he can serve her and the children. No, Paul Washer. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Wrong. I don't know what else. That's freaking nonsense.
Build his kingdom. Authority is given to a man to serve his wife and his children. He seeks to lead his wife and his children biblically for their greatest eternal good.
Okay, so he's to serve them. I think, hopefully, now let me give Paul the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully, he's saying he serves them by leading them in the family. I don't think I've ever heard Paul flesh that out, though. Normally, it's just serve, 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 serve. It's not you serve by leading them. But I'm going to give Paul the benefit of the doubt. I've listened to enough Paul to know I'm pretty sure that I'm being too gracious in giving him the benefit of the doubt. Where normally, as a complementarian, when you ask for a practical example of how a husband leads, they don't give any practical examples. And you ask for a practical example of how a wife should submit, there's never any examples given, right? Because then they'll get in trouble if they give any examples. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, though, here. All right. Maybe give me a comment below if anybody knows Paul Washer's opinion on this. Give me a comment below. But normally, he is servant leader. He leads by serving, and the wife submits, but we never give anything practical for how a wife submits. It's always just serve, 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 serve.
If a woman believes, a godly girl believes that she is to submit to her husband, and she looks over there and all she sees is an immature boy who does everything for himself, that has a great way of creating bitterness in her heart. But if she looks over there...
Oh, come on. No. If he was an immature boy in 2024, this video is entitled men failing in 2024. If he was an immature boy in 2024, she would have never married him. Paul, they would have never gotten married. Now, maybe in yesteryear, in the Victorian era, in the 1800s, where women had to marry a man, or maybe even as early or as recent as the 1950s, when basically women had to get married. Like you were an outcast in society if you didn't get married. Maybe then you could have married an immature man and you would have had these issues. In 2024, immature men aren't getting married. No woman is marrying an immature man. Okay, Paul? That's not how it works today. I don't know what age you're stuck in, but that is not how it works today. Boy, even the average age of marriage, even the average age of marriage right now is 30 for women and 31 for men. 30, that's getting pretty old. Now you could still be immature at those ages, but it's not like, oh yeah, I mean, we're 19 years old, we're getting married. No, this isn't the day we live in, Paul.
And sees a husband that is, his whole focus is this: hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done. And he's using everything he has, all his gifts, his talents, his authority, his place as a husband and father. He's using it all to bless his wife and children and to bless the church and to bless the world. It's easy for her to submit to a man like that. So,
yeah, I'm sure it would be if he uses everything in his power and he focuses that on his woman and the children. Yeah, that probably would be easier, wouldn't it, Paul? How many men are out there focusing all their energy on that? Probably not many. Now, the question that we should ask is that scriptural? Is that what scripture teaches? I don't believe it is. Genesis chapter 2, the woman was given as a helper to the man to help him accomplish the mission of his life, to subdue the earth, to be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth, take dominion over the earth. So she is the helper to the mission. She is not to be the mission. The way that Paul is presenting this, now maybe this is, I'll give Paul the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this is unintentional, but the way that he is presenting this is that she and the children, they are the mission. And I'm saying, no, they're not the mission. He should have a mission from God that's separate from them. They are not the mission. He is not made the head so that he can submit to them. Well, that'll wrap up part 2 of Paul Washer giving advice to the young men. Be careful out there, young men. Be careful. And remember, as you navigate this, that Christ is winning. He is building his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Until next time, this is the PostMillennial Man.